Good morning and welcome to another episode of Josh and Pat. I'm Joshua Klein, joined by Patrick Cassett, and the Titans narrowly lost to the Saints yesterday, 15-16. Now, you have to imagine that the Titans, who were unable to find the end zone, might have been able to do so and might have been able to get that extra point if Ryan Tannehill didn't throw 3 interceptions. Now, Patrick, we are no quarterback experts. We've never played quarterback, but we have to believe that if you don't throw 3 interceptions in a game, you give your team a better chance to win. So now the question is, are the Tennessee Titans dead as long as Tannehill is their starting quarterback? And is it time to bring in the chosen one, Malik Willis?
Josh, Ryan Tannehill looked awful yesterday with a capital A. I mean, not only did he throw 3 interceptions, but he was missing receivers left and right. He was underthrowing the ball. I mean, and you can't even blame weather as a potential factor because, Josh, they played in a dome. So now you start looking around and I start seeing the stats. Ryan Tannehill, 3 interceptions. He runs 3 times for 5 yards. I would imagine Malik Willis at least runs 3 times for more than 5 yards. And Malik Willis...
Oh, I 100%.
Yeah, and Malik Willis probably could throw 3 interceptions too. But if he's going to do that, at least bring some other value.
No, I 100% agree. I think Malik Willis has a little bit of Jameis Winston in him, that 30 for 30 type action. Listen, I'm not saying Malik Willis doesn't throw 3 interceptions. That is not what I'm saying. But I'm saying he might just get you 3 touchdowns. Can you imagine DeAndre Hopkins and Malik Willis together?
Ooh.
Can you imagine that pairing? I mean, that is... I don't know how you stop that. Now the question is, will Nick Folk get the AFC Special Teams Player of the Week award? He went 5 for 5 kicking field goals, which you have to imagine that's the best in the NFL this week. That being said, I don't think any one of those kicks was very meaningful.
Yeah, because the problem for Nick Folk is, you got to feel bad for him because none of those kicks come down in a win. Because if the Titans win, he's definitely probably the AFC, Special Teams Player of the Week. But unfortunately, he doesn't get that. And you know what? It probably would have mattered more, Josh, if you stick Malik Willis in as your quarterback. Malik, look, we talk about it all the time. We've heard Dabo Sweeney talk about that his program was built on NIL, the original, God's name, image, and likeness. We'll take that and transfer that to Tennessee and to Nashville. And I know that Malik didn't go to Clemson, but he went to a Christian school. He brings those Christian values to Nashville, and he has God on your side via Liberty University.
Well, my thing is that, obviously the Titans, if they don't put Malik in, Nick Folk might break the record for field goals this year. Which it's going to be great potentially.
For him.
DeAndre Hopkins probably, would you rather be an Arizona Cardinal this year or a Tennessee Titan? It feels like it might be the same thing, just like different colors. So we feel bad for him.
Josh, I'd argue Joshua Dobbs.
I feel bad for my fantasy team who has him.
I would argue Joshua Dobbs played better than Ryan Tannehill yesterday. So,
well, and we knew Joshua Dobbs was a guy. Mm-hmm. That's the thing. And so at what point does Malik Willis become your one, and then new draft pick?
Will Levis.
Will Levis, there it is. It took a second to get there. Will Levis becomes your backup, and then Tannehill, what do we just, I don't know, we make him emergency quarterback.
Right.
Get that veteran experience from the 3rd string spot.
Right. Far
Far enough away from the ball, though, where they don't have to worry about him giving the ball to the other team 3 times.
Exactly. I think you're right, Josh.
So, but on the flip side of the ball, Derek Carr, not a bad day. Taysom Hill, 3 carries for 4 rushing yards. Mm-hmm. It's 1.3 average. Again, just doing Taysom Hill stuff. That guy.
That's why you pay him the big bucks.
He's an all-time great. That's why you pay him the big bucks. Because did he have any receiving yards? No. Mm-hmm. He did not have any receptions. Did he have any passing yards? No, he did not. But he could have. He could have. But he does get those 3 carries for 4 yards, which. And in the long run, you extend that over a season. That's
quite a bit
damage.
Yeah.
So hey, good for the Saints. Got a guy. Titans, you guys can figure this out. Mm-hmm. Moving on the sheet, Patrick. last night was a tough night. The Dallas Cowboys beat the Giants 40-0 in MetLife.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is a Giants team that paid Daniel Jones, that basically, just broke the bank paying Saquon, and so that they give all this money out. They say we got a team. They won a playoff game last year. They have reigning Coach of the Year Brian Daboll, and they couldn't score a single point.
Wait, Josh,
against the Cowboys.
Josh, what'd you say the final score was again?
Wasn't it 40-0?
40-0. I'm sorry. I wasn't aware. The Giants haven't tweeted out a final score yet, so I didn't know that game finished up. I'm sorry. That's
tough. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so that's news to me, Josh. So just looking at it, because obviously I wasn't aware it was 40-0. So that tells me that Daniel Jones must have played awful.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what to summarize any of that game, to be honest with you, Patrick. I don't know who to say played awful. It feels like everyone played awful. I'm not sure. And remember, I picked the Giants plus 3.5 as my pick of the week. I'm not sure the Giants went to practice this offseason, and I just want to say big asterisk by my pick, because I would have loved to know that they didn't go to a single practice all year.
Right.
And that's information that I wasn't given and I couldn't find.
If you're in the building,
so I feel like I was cheated. Yeah.
And Josh, here's the thing.
Not a fan.
Is you get beat 40-0 last night, and everything went wrong. You got blocked field goals. You got defensive touchdowns scored for Dallas. You've got interceptions, fumbles, all that, right? If you're the Giants.
Yeah.
And you start looking around and you start going, we paid Daniel Jones $1.3 million to do that last night.
Yeah. It was. He did get paid like $1.2 million last night to do that performance.
Yeah, that's tough.
I don't know the economics of that. I don't know how that works, but that's a tough night.
Yeah, because Josh, personally,
and the Giants they had so much optimism going into last night. All the Giants did. They believed, and we knew the Cowboys believed because the Cowboys believe every year.
Mm-hmm.
But I think for the first time in a while, the Giants believed. I don't know if there's a single ounce of belief in their team anymore to lose at home to a division rival. Because remember, when even like, for instance, like the Raiders last year, they were not good. But when they played the Chiefs, they could play them hard because they see each other twice a year. They know how to scheme against each other. That in-division rivalry,
100%.
I don't know how you do that. Let that happen to a division opponent, but man, somebody's got to be fired week one. I think that's the only thing that you could do to solve that issue.
It's inexcusable. If you're the New York Football Giants, you got to wake up this morning and you know what? We're doing everything different. Like just start over.
Yeah. Start over. It's 12 carries, 51 yards from Saquon Barkley. That doesn't feel like nearly enough.
Yeah. When you realize that Daniel Jones probably wasn't going to be able to do anything offensively production-wise, maybe just start running Saquon and Wildcat. Now,
I will say, though, Daniel Jones had a better QB performance than some quarterbacks around the league yesterday.
It's true.
And one of those quarterbacks, we say Daniel Jones was paid $1.2 million to play a game. There was a quarterback that was paid $3.2 million to play a game. And his name was Joe Burrow. And Joe Burrow was a part of an offense that did put up 3 points. So we will give him credit there.
Yes.
That being said, the stat line's not loving Joe Burrow this morning. Went 14 for 31 for 82 yards. Didn't even complete 50% of his passes, which I don't think that's a receiver stat.
Yeah, no, Josh, and it's tough. It's tough if you're Joe Burrow, because you probably know that, hey, I'm getting paid a lot of money. And when I look at someone that averages 2.6 yards, that's not great, and that's not what I'm expecting to get out of the Bengals. And it's a little bit weird because, the Bengals haven't had an indoor practice facility for so long that you thought that they were able to play better in the elements in the weather yesterday, but they weren't able to do that. And it turns out that, maybe Joe Burrow is overpaid.
Well, I mean, there's a chance, but some people are asking the question, Patrick, and I'm just looking at the stats here.
Just look at it.
Is Joshua Dobbs a better quarterback than Joe Burrow? Joshua Dobbs, 21 for 30 for 132 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions.
Mm-hmm.
But he led his team to put up 16 points against the Washington Commanders, who basically won the Super Bowl when they beat the Ravens in the preseason, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's look at Joe Burrow here. Joe Burrow against the Browns, who they didn't even make the playoffs last year. And I don't think they won the preseason Super Bowl.
Right.
Do you?
No, they didn't.
No. He puts up 14 for 31 for 82 yards.
And we forget that Joshua Dobbs is a playoff adjacent quarterback by starting that Week 18 game last year. And so I look at it, Josh, and you know what my sources tell me? A 20.4 QBR rating from Joe Burrow, that's not great. And that's not what we need if you're a Bengals fan. So, you know what? I'm sure the people in Cincinnati, they'll get it figured out because they seem pretty level-headed, the fans up there. It's not like they haven't won anything before. And, I'm sure they get it figured out.
I mean, maybe. But Jamar Chase, as Jamar Chase said, they just lost to some elves.
Yeah, that's a tough look.
So if you lose to some elves, I don't know if that's a great look. And I did love that. One thing I did love is I love that he doubled down on the diss. He called them elves. He got beat by elves, and he's like, "I got beat by elves."
It was good,
and so he did say that. So that's and I do respect that.
The only time that you should ever get beat by an elf is in December around Christmas, and it can't happen Week 1 in the NFL season.
Yep, I agree. Or what about those like what are the cookie elves? The ones that like make the little fudge stripes.
Yeah, those. See that's an exception. That's like an asterisk situation,
and that's like a year-round thing.
Yeah, because everybody knows there's always an exception to a rule. Because there's elements.
What about that crackle something and pop?
Oh, snap crackle pop
from Snap Crackle Pop. Those elves. I mean, I think they drop 50 on anybody.
Yeah, that's tough. And that Will Ferrell's probably a little bit busy. He's probably busy year round.
Yeah, well, he's a seasonal guy, but I mean, yeah, but he's pretty busy year round. But you're right. I think that he's more of the Christmas time, so that's great. George Pickens not happy. The Steelers is another team that people are saying maybe didn't practice all year. So, let me just paint the stage, Patrick. Last year, the conversation was Kenny Pickett could be the guy.
Mm-hmm.
George Pickens could be elite number one. They still have Deontay Johnson, solid guy, and they got a solid running back in Najee Harris. They lose T.J. Watt, which definitely hurts, but they had a great defense aside from him. So the conversation this year was they still got all these weapons. They get T.J. Watt back healthy with this great defense that they had. And all Kenny Pickett has to do is make the year 1 to year 2 jump as a quarterback. Turns out, I don't know if he made that jump.
Yeah, well,
I think if he tried to make the jump, it was more like a skip.
Right.
But it wasn't a jump.
If the Steelers could play every game like they played the 2023 preseason, they'd probably be Super Bowl champions. But then we learned Week 1 that the preseason means nothing. And I'm sitting here, Josh, and I'm going to look into the camera. Can we just be honest? What an absolute waste of a draft pick Najee Harris is. Look, he's not putting up numbers like Derrick Henry, but here's the other issue. If you're only going to rush him 6 times a game, that's not worth a number 1 draft pick.
Yeah. That was not, I don't know if that was the great pick, but I think they got more problems than just Najee Harris. I think they got problems all around.
You don't think the 23.9 QBR from Kenny Pickett, that's an issue, you think?
I think that might be part of it. Yeah, we might be circling around what the root of this issue is. And as a Ravens fan right now, I'm happy. I'm loving this. You know what? I say I'm gonna call it on this show right now. This is gonna be the first season under Mike Tomlin's tenure to have a losing record.
Whoa. Say it ain't so, Josh.
I'm saying it. This is like the biggest like overreaction Monday in the history of Mondays, right? That's what happens on week 1. And this is not an overreaction. That's a level-headed take.
And you want to
Steelers fans, time to hit the panic button.
And you want to know how we know that we know ball? Josh, because our NFC prediction for the champion in the NFC this year was the San Francisco 49ers. And you know who balled out yesterday? Brock Purdy and the San Francisco Niners.
Called it. And so, I mean, Patrick, I really do believe, well, first of all, both of we had these same Super Bowl predictions, both sides.
Great minds think alike.
Both are undefeated right now.
Yep.
Both are on the chance to go 17-0.
On an all-time run.
I'm not saying that we got it perfect, but I think we got it perfect.
We're in the ballpark.
That's pretty awesome. But yeah, George Pickens, he's not happy about how the Steelers played. He said, nobody to get that man the ball, though. Now, that was a like tweet, so he didn't say that verbatim.
Liked Instagram.
But he endorsed it.
Liked Instagram. He did endorse. And to my knowledge, Josh, in his Instagram bio, it does not say like, comments / repost are not endorsements. So therefore, we can only take the information we have.
Yeah. So that's great. The Patriots had a chance to beat the reigning Super Bowl runner-ups.
Yes.
And,
big deal.
And so this is how what happened, Patrick. The Patriots were down 25-20 to the Eagles in Foxborough at home after honoring Tom Brady.
Mm-hmm.
This is the big Tom Brady homecoming game. He's finally separated himself enough from Tampa Bay where Patriots fans and their Bostonian twisted brains could remember that he actually gave them everything.
Yeah.
And appreciate him again. And the homecoming of Tom Brady, they had the chance to win it late in the game there. Mac Jones was driving. Mac Jones, side note, looked pretty solid. And so
capable.
Big 4th down. They need a huge conversion here. Mac Jones throws a dot across the field right where it needs to be. And Kayshon Boutte can't get 2 feet in bounds.
Yeah. And
Patrick, I mean, some people are saying, oh, it would be impossible. His momentum was taking him. I say, you probably, if it's a perfect throw, you probably should get 2 feet in bounds.
Mm-hmm. I say, if Kayshon Boutte makes that play, he changes his last name. But he didn't make the play, so he's stuck with Boutte. And it's a tough look for him because that's not how I would want to be introduced in the NFL. Because arguably,
this guy's Boutte.
Yeah, no one should know his name. And now Patriots fans are going to be sitting here going, dang, we got Kayshon on our team.
Yeah, it's that guy. He needs to do something big in the next few weeks because you know how much the Patriots would have loved to beat the Eagles there? Yeah, like
they would have loved
that. I think that would have been huge. That would have been because this is like, it's a revenge game.
Yeah, it is. It is a revenge game.
People don't forget Nick Foles.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Especially with Tom Brady back in the building.
With Tom Brady back in the building, that's tough. You got to do better. You can't imagine Bill Belichick's happy about that. But Mac Jones, good for you. Hopefully, maybe you guys might be able to make the playoffs this year, and I was not anticipating that. So good for the Patriots. Matt Ryan made his in the booth debut yesterday, and immediately caught just an absolute ricochet of a shot with his broadcast partners making he didn't make a 28-3 joke, but he pretty much did.
He did.
He said,
in the booth with Matt Ryan and Tiki Barber, I'm Andrew Catalan. We'll hear from A.J. Ross coming up. We were just chomping some burgers at halftime, saying this game feels like it should be 28-3 in favor of Minnesota. Why is it still 10-10? Turnovers.
we were chopping up burgers at half, which What does that mean? I don't know. I think maybe were they working like the concessions?
Had to be working the concession at halftime, because they probably don't get paid at halftime because there's no game to broadcast. So it's just trying to make a little extra change.
Well, they also the stadium could have been low staff. They weren't really anticipating being as busy.
Mm-hmm.
So they're in the concession, they're chopping it up, and broadcast partner was basically saying, "Hey, like it feels like this should be like a 28-3 game, but for whatever reason, it's not. It's closer." And you saw Matt Ryan's soul kind of leave his body and his eyes for a second. He, being a professional, he got right back to it. He didn't make anything. We can only imagine the conversation that took place once the cameras cut off to commercial. But man, that guy's never going to escape it. He's never going to be able to escape it.
He's not. And people forget that if the defense just gets one stop, we don't have this conversation. So it's not all on Matt Ryan.
Just get the one stop. That's all you got to do. So hey, poor Matt Ryan. Gino Smith, he almost got hit by Aaron Donald. And one of the greatest clips I've seen that came out of it. Take a look.
On third down, Smith, pressure comes late, and it's incomplete. That pressure coming from Aaron Donald.
That's Gino Smith almost getting hit by Aaron Donald. And I'll tell you what, I probably have the same reaction.
Yeah.
Personally.
And it's good.
And he doesn't need to take that hit because, again, the Rams were kicking their butts.
Yeah, and Gino knows.
They were dominating them.
Yeah, and Gino knows, what he's got to do as an NFL quarterback because he still hasn't wrote back yet, and that's good for him. But he did yell back at Aaron Donald yesterday. And, as a guy that is bigger, stronger, faster than you, hey, Gino, maybe he's the most relatable quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah, but I just thought about Patrick, and I'm going to tread lightly here.
Tread.
But Gino Smith does have a baby mama who we know tried to put a hit out on other baby data. So, I mean, that if you're Gino Smith, any single person you see coming towards you, you probably get a little bit. You got to be able to just have that in the back of your mind to be a little bit on edge. Like, could did she?
Yeah, but Josh, I like to think he has a better relationship with that person than Eli Apple. But who knows?
I'm rooting for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully,
love is not dead.
Don't get hit by Aaron Donald. I don't know. I don't know if I'd say love, but again, I'm not close enough to the situation to know. And then last thing on the docket, Bears stink, man. I thought this was gonna be the year that they didn't stink. They stink. Justin Fields might be a running back.
Yeah, which is weird.
Now, the allegations, we've always heard the allegations. We never believe the allegations.
We don't.
But now with the way the judicial system is,
right?
It's like when you hear something, you have to. It's almost like guilty until proven innocent, and unfortunately, I've seen nothing to prove that he's not.
Yeah, and it's a little bit weird because they go out and they trade for DJ Moore, and everybody's like, hey, we got a absolute receiver for Justin Fields. We got a guy that's going to ball out for him. And it turns out that maybe they shouldn't have gone out and got a receiver because if Justin Fields is just going to be a running back, I would maybe just go get another offensive lineman.
Yeah, I think that probably would have been a good bet potentially. I mean, I'm just going to say it. DJ Moore was targeted 2 times.
Got to do better.
2 times. And by the way, it was on the same drive. You guys had the number 1 overall pick, okay? So as an organization, you could have had Bryce Young as your quarterback. You could have had Will Levis. Mm-hmm. You could have had Anthony Richardson, CJ Stroud. You could have had any of these guys.
And we know those guys are good because they sat down with Michael Rubin.
And Michael Rubin, he knows how to talk to guys and get guys going.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see how Anthony Richardson played yesterday?
He got going.
Pretty good. Okay? And but the Bears said, no, we believe in our guy, Justin Fields.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what we're going to do? We're going to get rid of that number 1 pick, and we're going to go get a star wide receiver because we know that that's all he's been missing. Justin Fields is not anything to do with his game. He's missing a number 1 guy.
That's what it is.
A true number 1 receiver. Turns out, man, DJ Moore might end the season with 100 receiving yards. And that's including the fact that he already has 25.
Right. And that's including that because if you run the statistics long term, he's going to average, about somewhere in the ballpark of about 33 targets this year, which is not great.
Yeah. And I believed in him. My fantasy team was really counting on DJ Moore being good. I bought into the hype. I'm just going to say it. I bought in.
Didn't happen.
I bought in.
Didn't happen.
I feel like a fool. And you know what? We're just going to have to bring up the past year. Last successful quarterback for the Bears was Mitch Trubisky.
With Matt Nagy.
That's not the kind of omen that you want on your organization. That your current guy is worse with the new coach than Mitch Trubisky was with Matt Nagy. Maybe it was Matt Nagy. Maybe they should have rolled with Mitch Trubisky. He could have been the guy. He did lead them to the playoffs.
Yeah, could have been.
So, whatever. Patrick, really quick. Picks for the night. What do we got?
For tonight, rolling with the Jets. I got them 27-23 over the Bills.
I'm gonna, for fantasy purposes only, I will be rolling with the Jets. I'm looking for a 7-0 victory with that 7 being a defensive score. That being said, I am also going to take the Bills probably 24-14 maybe. And then boom.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. And that's so make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. DM us on Instagram at Picks and Pancakes if you're still watching, and you will get a free mug and a free $10 McDonald's gift card. Also, make sure you guys go to Picks and Pancakes to read everything that's happening in sports. Videos posting all throughout the week. We're doing live streams now on TikTok more, so go check us out there.
Yeah.
And you guys have a wonderful week. Football is back. Let's have a great night tonight, and we'll see you guys on Friday for another episode of Josh and Pat. A peace.